Today we're going to talk about setting up Copilot in Dynamics 365 Sales to best support your team. And as you can see, with Copilot, you get a powerful AI assistant right at your fingertips. It's an immersive experience ready to streamline daily tasks and provide actionable insights right where you're working with your customers. But to make the most of these capabilities, it's important that we set it up correctly. And that's where we need to set up Copilot in Dynamics 365 Sales. And it's important to follow these steps and set up these capabilities to really fit with your team's unique workflow and goals of this technology. Now, we're going to take a look at some of the essential steps, which includes adding additional fields, adding additional automation and insights. So really, Copilot becomes part of your seamless workflow and sales process. So with that, let's dive in and take a closer look. Okay, when I arrive on my settings page here under my Dynamics 365 Sales app settings, there's a few options available to me to get started. First and foremost, they're going to check for licensing. So they want to make sure that you have Sales Enterprise, Sales Premium, or Customer Insights licensing in order to take advantage of all the great Copilot capabilities. If you have that licensing enabled for your users, they're going to be able to start using Copilot right away. That's the first thing you'll see. Secondly, there's messaging around audit. Now, auditing is used in order to do summarizations, retroactively looking back at what happened on opportunities, accounts, leads, and so on and so forth. So applying auditing is really going to give you that rich summarization capability. And Microsoft make it really easy for you to quickly enable and turn on auditing if you don't have it already, so you can start taking advantage of that. Underneath that is where we get into the granularity around what is available and usable from Copilot. And we have this blanket setting here which says, hey, do you want to turn on Copilot for all of your different Dynamics 365 sales apps? Mine is set to custom, and we'll talk about that in a moment, where I have a level of granularity over which applications inside Dynamics 365 sales actually have Copilot. Now, this is great from a security and governance standpoint because not every user in every app may be allowed to use Copilot or want to have Copilot, so you can turn it off on an app basis. But other options available, obviously custom we talked about. By default, I can just have them on by default or off by default for all of my applications there. That's your settings from turning on Copilot. There's also reference to preview capabilities, preview features. So there's documentation included from Microsoft here about what is coming down in public preview that you can start to take advantage of right away. You just have to opt into that preview in order to have those capabilities turned on, and that's what that checkbox does. And another example here is the email preview. So if you want the ability to be able to compose and draft emails from within the Copilot sidecar, that capability will allow you to do that. And that's great. If you haven't checked out Copilot for Sales, you'll get a good example of how that works, where Copilot will draw information from your CRM and from the email messages you're replying to and really help sellers spark creativity in their responses. That's what that email preview setting does. And then, as we talked about from an individual app setting, this is where those above settings around turning on and off Copilot come into play. But I can individually control and toggle on and off settings about whether that application is going to have Copilot or not. And I can do that for every single one of my apps to get that set up. That's the easy part. Let's take a look at some of the more advanced settings we have here. And I like to look at opportunities because there's a lot going on. What we allow you to do is to obviously control some of the insights, some of the fields, and some of the settings. And it's really important to incorporate the fields that are most meaningful to your organization into the Copilot when it comes to proactively and reactively summarizing and providing insights. So as an example here, I have several fields from my core opportunity table, as well as related fields from related tables like my account and my contact. So by default, when you look at this, it's going to show you those fields that are included in your Copilot. But you have the ability to go in and add up to a maximum of 10 fields across all of those different related tables to your Copilot. So what I like to do is maybe originating lead and customer pain points are not fields that I want to include in my Copilot. I can take those out, and it will open up additional fields that I can add in order to hit that maximum 10. So maybe I want to include, say, actual close date as an example, and it will allow me to add that field into my mix and train that Copilot model for opportunities to include that field as well. So a little bit of tinkering and refinement that you can do there to customize those fields. The other part that's really interesting is the additional related information and insights that correspond to the opportunity, or in fact the account or contacts sorry, not contacts, the leads that you're customizing as well. So you can see here we can add related enrichment around key email information, key record information, product insights, quoting insights, competitor insights. This is all fantastic stuff because if you think about, say, an opportunity with line items where there is won and loss opportunities where maybe we're winning or losing to different competitors, those insights for similar won and lost opportunities are going to be presented in Copilot when you're analyzing and summarizing these opportunities. So very, very interesting way of looking at this when you produce a summary of one of your key accounts, one of your key opportunities, to include those insights. And you can see some examples how that shows up on the right-hand side here, that you're going to get those additional layered on insights. And it's pretty similar when we go into leads as well. Leads is going to have similar capabilities around the individual different fields and whether you want to show the controls inside Copilot, customize the fields, add those additional insights. All of that is available across each piece. And then the last piece here is really looking at knowledge sources. So by default, SharePoint is going to be part of the equation. Additional knowledge libraries can be part of the equation as well. We're going to look at SharePoint libraries that are available to you and include them in the search. But if you explicitly want to call out libraries, sites, folders that you want to search and make that search a little bit more efficient, absolutely can. You can go and put in your SharePoint URL, absolute URLs there, give it a name and include those specific libraries as part of your personalized seller searching as well. And the benefit of doing that is really enriching that Copilot search and summary that comes back to you. So that's the bare basics of just setting this up. Remember, this is really designed to be turnkey, so you can get going very, very quickly. It's not really a huge technical lift to be able to do these types of customizations. And in future episodes of this, we may dig into Copilot Studio, where we take it to a more extensibility layer to be able to bring in additional systems and records from other systems and correlate that with Copilot to provide even more information.